Well, Untangle
See,
it's a
you're
freemium type
you're
service.
also a Linux guru though. You have to remember not everyone is though too, right? That's a big part of it is that it's Linux and you don't have to know Linux very well. That's part of it
Well,
to me. Well, command line,
Untangle bridges that gap.
kind of, right?
And
That's a good
so
way to put it.
it makes a very daunting Linux system incredibly configurable in such a way that it can perform in any way that you want. You can really get under the hood and make some really neat things happen. Um, some users have deployed some very interesting use cases that have been, in my opinion, cobbled together but work phenomenally well on the forums.
Yeah.
So those types of solutions that are, kind of outside of the box, you really can't use with some of our competitors' devices.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Um,
They always start the conversation with a $1 billion piece of hardware, and
yeah.
that's really kind of surprised me about this. I ran a Tangle on a Linksys router at my house for like 2 years, so it's over there in a box
At
still.
my last place, we had just this stupid little, I can't say names,
Uh-huh.
desktop computer with two network cards in it, and it handled 180 users.
Yeah.
Now, I would not recommend that, and it was pieced together, but you
It
work with what you
works.
have.
We call that a stopgap solution, a workaround, right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
works though. Speaking of stopgap solutions and cool hardware workarounds, let's talk about home networks for a minute. Untangle's become a little more popular in the home market the last year or two. We got asked for basically some pro tips. Home users are generally not systems administrators. A lot of ours are, which isn't surprising, but not all of them. So, what are some like pro tips, I guess, for like someone like using Untangle on a home network?
That's that's kind of a can of worms.
Yeah,
I mean, I could just fire off with a bunch of books and just say, "Get busy."
yeah, yeah.
But
You can see my
let's make
Untangle
something
right
a little
there.
bit more actionable.
Ooh, look, you can see
Huh?
that's my Untangle right there. You can see the WAN flashing. Anyway,
Oh, yeah,
give me some
yeah.
pro tips.
Or is it a listening device?
Both.
You are at home.
I didn't say that. I was never here.
Um, I would recommend, first and foremost, utilize the free resources as a home user. The wiki, the forums, YouTube. Untangle, like I stated earlier, has always been a freemium software,
Right.
based on open source Linux. So, because of that, there's a great plethora of really good documentation online. Our support agents stay very active on it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of really good users on there. I'm not going to mention any names that are really quick, a lot quicker than
Yeah.
some of our support staff. I'm talking in within seconds you can find a result.
I'm kind of one of the power users on the forums too, and I don't know, man. Beats me to every third answer. So
It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
the forums are a really good resource for home users. I think they're becoming a better resource lately too, and we're revamping them. You and I are working on finding new platforms, all that kind of stuff. We still have to have a meeting about that, by the way.
Well, we'll punt till next week.
Next week. It's SysAdmin week, man. It's you get to have fun this week. So another kind of pro tip question, whatever it is, we get a lot from home users is just gonna go ahead and say it. Some of them are maybe a little paranoid.
Okay.
Some of
I
them,
relate to that.
and I do
I'm
too.
a paranoid guy.
Me too. You'll see my, little camera covers on my phone and things like that. But we have some home users who get something like Untangle because things like getting hacked or getting DDoSed are kind of buzzworthy. You hear them in the news, you see them on TV and things like that. So I tell people a lot, you're probably not getting hacked. You're probably not, but things happen. So
Things do happen.
I mean, nothing's 100%. If you could find a software that's 100%, it'd be $1 billion a week. So for like pro tips, am I getting hacked regularly, repeatedly, every day?
Probably not.
No.
Um, Having coming to a full understanding of traffic will lead you to a true answer.
If I'm getting hacked, I
I
mean,
the thing is though is I have seen Untangle hacked.
and that's what I was
It's
gonna say. If I'm getting hacked, it'll at least tell me, right? I'll see some signs in the reports. Maybe.
you'll know. There will be bells and whistles.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
off. But Untangle has absolutely been hacked. To your point, nothing is foolproof.
Sure. I've seen it.
I
Yeah.
started in late 2016.
Mm-hmm.
In my time, I have seen system compromise of Untangle.
Mm-hmm.
The users, when this happens, they're very quick to alert us because they've received alerts.
Right.
And then we always do a deep dive to figure out what's going on.
Sure.
The very interesting thing about it, 100% of all Untangle hacks, 100% of the time came from SSH being enabled combined with a poor password being set for the admin password.
That's a big one. A lot of people don't change that password from from its
past
default,
WD.
which yeah.
Yeah, it's very secure, very secure.
Yeah.
But that's why we developed and deployed Untangle in Command Center.
Right.
So that way we can provide everybody, doesn't matter your user access level.
I'm still listening. I
the
just dropped my
ability-
pin.
What was that, Chad? You kind of broke up.
I said I dropped my pin. Okay.
Oh, you dropped your pen.
Yeah.
Your microphone parrot. That's where it's.
Yeah.
That's where the listening device is, right? But
Command
the
Center.
true power of Command Center is it lets you give access to any of your devices securely and remotely. So you can be at home like I am now and still admin all of your Untangled devices in a secure manner.
I use it. Yeah, I use it every day or so too, just to get to this box that's right here. It's just right there. But I just use Command Center because I'm. It's not like I keep my TV and keyboard and mouse connected to it or something like that, right?
Why would you walk over there?
Yeah, but the bigger deal.
We're in 2020, baby.
That's where I was going. The bigger deal to me is we're in 2020, and I'm not gonna leave SSH open on my firewall, even here at my house. So that's where I was going with this. Am I being hacked? If so, why? A big reason is because maybe I have remote access with SSH open, right? Through Untangle's. That's in Untangle's access rules under config, and so HTTPS on your WAN IP is another one. We have those rules kind of disabled by default now because of Command Center, right? So if I'm like poking around and I see a device that's online with SSH open, right? That's just a big gaping garage door on my network, right? They can just kind of do whatever they want.
You'll be identified quickly through port scan,
right?
And the door will be hammered on.
Mm-hmm. That's actually something I show people in Untangle reporting and intrusion prevention is the port scanning and how often it happens and how seldomly we get more than one attempt. They come and scan and they don't find anything and they leave. So I always have like a very like equal pie chart on my home Untangle because there's nothing open. They come by, oh nope,